Yeah, I don't know why it is taking so much of time here to log in. Shiva, sign in. Yeah, now it's logging in. Not required. Okay. So what did we discuss yesterday? So I've shown you how to create a Snowflake account and how I've given a walkthrough of the UI. Okay, and I've shown you how to create a database, and I've shown you how to create a table, and I've shown you how to execute a sample query. Okay. Now today we'll try to understand what are all the different ways are there to connect to the Snowflake. Okay, and we'll try to actually jump into the core concepts. Okay. Data loading concepts, I would say. Core concepts is nothing but data loading concepts. Okay. So, in real time, guys, mostly we will use this particular tool, or we have some other tool also there. I mean, to connect or to execute all these commands. You know what is that command? What is that tool? So in Google, you go and search. Actually, go on mute, please. Okay. Okay. In Google, you just need to search here DB Ever. This is the database tool, I can say. It's an open source tool, open source database tool, I can say. Okay, where you can go and connect your Snowflake using that particular tool. Okay, now you just need to download this universal database tool. That too, here you have two different versions, guys. Actually, DBViewer Pro is there, and DBViewer Community is also there, guys. You try to download the community edition. That is enough. Pro means you need to pay some little bit of amount for that. That is not required. Community is more than enough to practice. Okay, so for that, I'm just trying to click on download here. Now it is downloading. Yeah, so the moment I click on download, it is saying that for which operating system you wanted to download. Let's say if your operating system is Mac OS or Linux, you try to download, click on the corresponding link and you try to download it. Since my operating system is Windows here, I'm just directly clicking on the Windows here so that it is actually downloading in my other window. Okay, once it is downloaded, I'll show you how to install that. Okay, let me show you that one. It's downloading still. Uh, it's just a 100 MB file, guys. Not more than that. Now it's completed actually from my end. This is the one actually. This is the software actually. Okay. Latest version will get downloaded here. That is 24.2.2. Now what you need to do is you need to give a double click on this one. I don't know what content he's expecting in the group. Okay. Now click on, I'm going back. You need to double click on this .exe file and click on next here. Click on agree. Click on next. Click on next. And click on next. Just install that one. That's it. Next, you need to click on so that you will get it will get installed. Now it is installing. It won't take much time, guys. Yeah. Now installation is completed. I'm trying to create a shortcut on the desktop and click on finish. Okay. Now I'm going to the desktop here. Now where is that symbol? I can see that symbol here. Just now 8-10 minutes today only, right? Now the symbol got created here. Now double click on that one. See, it will try to open like this. Let me show you that one. Once again. One second. It is opening tool like this. Like this. You need to close this. One second, guys. You need to, it will try to open the home page like this. Since I already installed it previously, right? Directly it is showing all these commands. What I will do is I'll try to close everything. When you install it first time, right? You can see the tool like this. With this tool, actually, you can connect to the Oracle, you can connect to the SQL Server, you can connect to the DB2, you can connect to the Postgres, you can connect to the Hive, you can connect to the Spark, you can connect to what not. Whatever the database is there in the market, you can connect to everything. Okay, let me show you what are all the different connectors are there. Okay, you click on database, you click on new database connection here. Now see, all these databases are supported here. Teradata, Vertica, and like what not. Everything is supported here. IBM DB2, Postgres, Oracle, MySQL, MariaDB, Hive, everything is. DreamDB, everything. Even NoSQL databases also you can connect. This is a universal tool, I can say. Okay, even Snowflake also you can connect from this particular tool. Shiva, why are you explaining this one, this particular tool? We can able to execute all the commands in like our front end UI, right? Then why you are explaining this one? I'll tell you the reason also for that. Okay, once I install this one, I'll tell you the reason. Okay, now to which database you wanted to connect. Once again, I'm showing you that one here. You need to click on database here. You need to click on new database connection and make sure that you're pointing to the all, or if you want to like navigate it to the particular like option, you can navigate, or you click on all here, and to which database you wanted to connect, you just search that one here. Now currently I wanted to connect it to Snowflake. Click on that one, click on next. See, the moment I click on next there, it is asking actually host name, database name, warehouse name, schema name, user sorry, username, password, role authentication, and all those things it is asking. Now we need to provide the details actually. Yesterday I've asked you to save the Snowflake URL, right? That URL actually you're supposed to give here. That is nothing but your host. The URL itself is a host. Okay. That you need to give here. Yesterday, I think I saved it right somewhere. Okay, let me try to show you that one here. One second, let me take it from my local. One second. Yeah, I think I stored it already. Okay, now let me move this one to the right side. Okay, see, this is the URL part. Now, what you guys have to do is you have to give the host name up to .com only. From where before after HTTPS colon is there, right? Colon / is there, right? And between this forward slash, whatever it is there, this is nothing but your host name. Copy this one carefully and try to give it here. Okay, even if you give HTTPS colon, that no problem, nothing will, it will not throw any error, no problem. But generally, we give only this part. Okay. Now, what is the database you wanted to connect actually? Yesterday, we have created database, right? What is that? Data underscore data tech, right? Data tech underscore DB. This is what I created yesterday. Okay. Warehouse. Warehouse is nothing but what? Compute warehouse. That is what we have taken, right? That is what we have automatically we got, right? When you create an account. That's what I'm trying to give here. And what is the schema? These are all optional, guys, actually. The database name, warehouse name, schema name is optional. Host name is mandatory, and username and password are mandatory. Now, for now, what I will try to give is I'll try to leave the optional ones, and I'll try to pass on only the mandatory ones here. Username is mandatory. Username I've given yesterday, Siva, and the password I'm trying to give here, welcome 123. Welcome W capital here, welcome 123. Now I'm trying to test the connection. If username and password are correct, okay, I think password is wrong here. Now let me try to give that password once again. Welcome @123. That is what I have to give. Test the connection. If everything is okay, it will try to say it's connected. See, first time for you guys actually, it will download the corresponding JDBC drivers actually. You please try to install. You please allow DBeaver to download that and install in the backend. You don't need to do anything. You just need to click on the download option. That's it. First time if you're doing it. Next time onwards, it will not ask. Only first time if you're trying to connecting actually, it will, this tool automatically will download JDBC drivers and it will install in the backend and it will create the connection for you. No problem. Okay. And after that, you need to give the Siva username and password, and you need to click on the test connection here. And if everything is correct here, then you need to click on finish. See, the connection got created here. Okay. Now in real time, you'll be having multiple accounts, right? Dev account, test account, UAT account, and production account, right? Like you will not remember, right? This URL is belongs to dev or UAT or production. You will not remember that. Now, in order to replace this connection name, right? What you have to do is right click on this one. You have an option called one second, one second. Edit connection. You need to click on the edit connection. Left side, you can see general here. Now you can see the connection name as your host name actually. Now what you need to do is you just try to give here dev, because it's a dev connection, development environment. Okay. Now dev, you try to give that one. I'm just leaving that one here. That's okay. Now see it is actually showing the dev connection. Dev is actually dev URL is actually this one. That's what it is trying to show. So dev host is this one. This is the port number. Snowflake always runs on the 443 port. Every database runs on the default ports. Snowflake default port is 443. Oracle default port is 1521. Okay, Postgres default port is 5432 something, 5439, I think, or 5432 something is there. It runs on top of that port. Okay, similar to that one, Snowflake actually takes 443 as a default port. That's okay. Now, if you expand this one, you can see the databases, whatever you were able to see yesterday. Okay, now let me expand actually your database name and your test schema. Yesterday I've created the tables, right? I created the employee table. Currently no data is there. Okay. Now what you need to do is you need to execute the commands, right? Where do you execute the commands here? Now for that, you need to click on the connection here. Right click on that one. You have an option called SQL editor here. Open SQL script or new SQL script. I'll try to click on new SQL script here. Okay. If it is already like created, you already created the script and you saved it in local, you can open that one. Or if you want to freshly create that one, like right click on this one, SQL editor, new SQL script, so that it will try to open the new session for you. Yeah. Okay. Now you can start executing your commands here. What you have to do is select star from. Always try to use the fully qualified name here. If you want to use the fully qualified name here, you try to drag and drop that particular table here so that you will get the fully qualified name. Database name dot schema name dot table name. You give the semicolon. That's the best practice always. And try to execute using this particular symbol so that it will be queried. See, you can see currently we do not have any data. We'll load the data maybe tomorrow, not today. We'll load the data and we'll start reading the data from the table. That's okay. But now we are trying to understand actually how to query that, how to like navigate to this particular connection, and how to like give the connection details, and how to connect to the database, and how to execute the queries. That's what you understood so far. Okay, Shiva, why did you explain all these things to us? Only one, you said like only front end tool we are going to use 90% of our regular activities, right? Now you wasted our time actually, and you explained all these things. No, no, I'm not wasting your time here. Okay, what what is the reason here to explain this particular tool is in your front end UI. That means this is your Snowflake UI. Okay, uh, generally technically Snowflake people they call it as a snow site. Okay, going forward, I call it as a snow site. In snow site actually, two commands are not supported. One is put and second one is get. Except these two commands, you can execute any other command here. But if you use DBeaver tool, right, database tool, right, you can even execute put and get commands also. That is only the reason why I'm explaining this one. And one more reason to explain this particular tool is, if at all if you want to implement CI/CD right on Snowflake, generally we have to go with this tool only. Because I told you already, we don't have any CI/CD connection or like thing here in the front end tool. That is the reason why we have to go with this one only. We can manage that CI/CD directly from here only. And And one more reason to explain this particular tool is, let's say you're doing migration project. In your project, you have Oracle, SQL Server, and Snowflake. Oracle, SQL Server are the your source databases, and your Snowflake is your target database. Okay, if you want to execute some query in Oracle, again you have to install SQL Developer. If you want to write some query for like SQL Server, you need to install SSMS, SQL Server Management Studio. If you want to execute the commands for Snowflake, then you have to install DBRR directly front-end application. For dealing with these many databases, do we need to install multiple softwares here in your local? Is it a good practice actually? No. With the same DB viewer, you can connect to the SQL Server, you can connect to the Oracle, you can connect to the Snowflake, right? All your connections are at one place, right? So that makes our life easy, right? You can execute Snowflake in one worksheet. You can execute Oracle commands in other worksheet. You can execute SQL Server commands in other worksheet, right? Everything is at one place, right? Correct or not? Am I making sense here?
Yep.
Yeah. So that is only the reason I'm explaining this particular tool here. Mostly in the real time, we go with this tool only, guys. Okay. One more thing is there, that is SnowSQL terminal is there. We don't use that one. I don't want to explain that one for your batch actually. If you want, I can share you the document for that. If you're interested, you go ahead and use that one. But we don't use that one here. So I wanted to deprecate that concept from your batch onwards. Deprecate means from my end. I don't want to discuss that. Okay? Yeah. So this is about the connection part and account creation and the connection part. Okay. Now let's get started with the data loading part. Now, before I get into that data loading part, any questions? Okay. If no questions, we'll start the data loading part. Okay. Huh. Huh. Let's say I have a CSV file. From that CSV file, I wanted to load it into that CSV file data. I wanted to load it into Snowflake. That's my requirement. In my local, I have CSV file. I wanted to load that CSV file into Snowflake. That is the requirement. How do we do that? That's what this architecture diagram is depicting here. Okay. What they're trying to say is, if you have a local file and your target is actually Snowflake table, how do we do that? So remember, if you want to load the data into the Snowflake table, we do not have direct approach. We do not have direct approach. What you have to do is, you have to load that particular local file data into any of the stage. Stage is a temporary memory location in your Snowflake. I'll show you that one, how to create and what are all the different stages are there. I'm going to discuss that one also. Okay. This local file has to be loaded into the stage. Either it may be internal stage, it can be user stage, it can be table stage. Okay. Don't worry. I'll explain all these things. Don't worry. Okay. Now I'm trying to, at a high level, I'm trying to explain here the architecture diagram. Data loading architecture, not Snowflake architecture. Do not think that this is Snowflake architecture. No. This is just a data loading architecture. Okay. Now, once you load that data into the stage location using put command. Okay. What you have to do is, you have to write the copy command and load that data into the Snowflake table. This is only the way we have to load the data from local to table. But you can load that data from any of these stage, guys. I'll talk about that one also. Okay. Give me 1 minute, guys. I'll connect my tab here. Just a second. Just a second. Meanwhile, if you have any question, you can.
What could be the reason we should load stage for sure?
Okay. So you're asking what could be the reason we have to use stage only here. That is the architecture, Snowflake architecture. Snowflake has backend, they have given only that option here. We don't have any other option. I mean, in case of files, I'm talking here. That is only the option. Even from the if you're trying to load the data from the other databases, let's say from Oracle database, if you want to load the data into the like Snowflake, again you're going to use the stage concept only backend because there
Mhm.
is no other option. They have given like that only.
Okay.
Okay. Now 1 second, guys.
When you say files means it's not only like CSV or flat
You can
file
you
or
can load any
any.
kind of file. CSV, XML, JSON,
Mhm.
Parquet, Avro,
Okay.
ORC, all those kind of files you can load it actually.
Okay.
Okay. Now let me tell you what is this exactly like stage means and what are all the different types of stages are there. Okay, that's what I'm going to discuss here. Look, let me erase this one. Mhm. Ah, okay. Stage is nothing but a temporary landing location in Snowflake. Is temporary memory location, I can say. If at all, if you want to load the data, you have to land the data first into Snowflake stage. That is only the option, guys. You like this was asked in one of the interview. Hey, do we have any other option apart from loading the data into the stage? No, no way. Whether you're loading through ETL tool, you're loading through like a programming language, back and ultimately it is going to use actually stage concept on ultimately. Okay, now, okay, Siva, you're saying that okay, stage is there actually through stage you're going to load the data into the target table. That's okay. What are all the different types of stages are there in Snowflake? Can you explain that one? Yes, that's what I'm going to do now. Okay, the stages are actually mainly categorized into two types, guys. Okay, I'm just writing here stages. Just a second. Uh, the first type of stage is actually internal stage. Internal stage. Second type of stage is actually external stage. Let me write down here. External. Okay. Now, Shiva, why do we use the internal stage? Why do we use the external stage? If at all, if you want to load the data from local, then you have to go with the internal. If at all, if you want to load the data from any of the public clouds like AWS, Azure, or GCP, let's say you have your data in S3, let's say you have your data in Blob, let's say you have your data in GCP bucket, then if you want to load that data into the Snowflake, then you have to use the external stage. Anyway, we are going to discuss about these external stages later. We'll fully focus on the internal stages now. Okay. Again, in the internal stages, we have three more categories. Three more categories. Let me write down one by one here. First one. Okay. First one is user stage. User stage. Second one is just a second, guys. Just a second. It's moving here and there. Oh, okay. Second one is actually like table stage. Third one is named internal stage. Okay. Named, named, named internal stage. This is the classification. Okay. Again, in the named internal stage, two more categories are there. I'm going to discuss those two also. Okay. The first one is permanent one, and second one is temporary one. Hmm. That's it. This is the high level classification. Now we'll discuss one by one here. Try to understand, guys. Please, if you understand this concept, the data loading concept will become very easy. If you miss this one, then you will not understand anything. Okay. Okay. So user stage. First one is the user stage. What is this user stage, Shiva? When we created the Snowflake account yesterday, first time when you try to log in into the account, it was asking us to enter the username. It was asking us to give some username, right? I've given actually Shiva username, right? And after that, I entered the password and confirmed the password, right? That is nothing but my user. Whenever you create a user in Snowflake, by default in the backend user stage will be created. By default in the backend user stage will be created. Why is that user stage will be created, Shiva? If at all, if you have any user level preferences or user level worksheets, if you want to store them, Snowflake is going to use that memory location in the backend. User stages are only for the users. For every user in the Snowflake, user stage will be created. You can create, I already told you in the first class, you can create any number of users in Snowflake. Shiva, Rama, Krishna, any number of users you can create. For every user, one user stage will be created for every user. For Shiva user, one user stage will be created. For Rama user, one stage will be created. For Krishna user, one more stage will be created. Like that, how many number of users you are creating, those many number of stages will be created in the backend.
Like,
Okay,
how can we identify these user stages?
I'll come to that point. Hold on. Let me complete this topic. I'll get into that one slowly. Hold on. So don't ask me any question till I complete this topic, please. Sorry to cut you. I'm sorry. Okay. Now, for every user stage will be created. That is one thing. Okay. And if you upload any file to this particular user stage, then that will be accessed only by that user. If you upload any file to this particular user stage, that will be accessible only for that particular user. Let's say in my project, user one, user two users are there. Okay. Let's say user one has uploaded one file into the user stage, this particular user stage. Then that cannot be accessible by user two. That is one point you need to understand. Okay. Shiva, how do we access that particular stage? Remember, user stages always you have to. Okay, I'll talk about that comments a bit later. First, let me complete the theory part, and later I'll come back to that one. Okay. Now, coming to the table stage. In Snowflake, actually, you have you actually create multiple tables, right? Every time you create a table in Snowflake, backend one stage will be created. Every time you create a stage, backend one stage will be created. That stage we have to call it as a table stage. I'm muting you, Mastan. Uh, So backend one stage will be created. Why we have to use that one, Shiva? To load the data into that particular table, we have to use that particular stage. To load the data into that particular table, we have to use that stage. And this is accessible by any of the user in the Snowflake. Okay. And one special point you need to understand about the user stage and the table stage is user stage you cannot create, you cannot drop, you cannot alter. Okay. Even table stage also You cannot create explicitly. You cannot alter that one. You cannot drop that one. Remember, table and user stages cannot be created by the users. Okay. Now, we don't have that flexibility here. We don't have that flexibility here. Okay. We have one more stage, which is very important one and regularly used one is named internal stage. This one, we can create it, we can alter it, we can drop it if not required. Full flexibility is there here. Okay. Huh. Why we have to use this particular stage, Iva? If you have access, okay, if particular user is having access, they can able to access the files from this particular stage. They can able to load that files into the tables easily. Because we can able to edit this one, right? We can able to edit the stage, right? That is the reason I'm saying it is more flexible. And this is accessible by every user provided if they have access, necessary access. Okay. So in this one, again, we have permanent stage is there, temporary stage is there. Permanent stage is nothing but once you create this one, while creating the stage, if you don't use any keyword, that will create automatically permanent stage. Until you drop that particular stage, stage will not be dropped. Temporary stage is nothing but once you create the stage, actually, once you come out of the session or once you close that particular session, your stage will be dropped automatically in the backend. The lifetime of this particular stage is only session. But the lifetime of this one is until you drop it. So, which one we are going to use in real time? Named internal stage. Because we will get more flexibility here. Okay. Now, same thing I'll try to show you in the documentation, guys, here. Everything will refer documentation only here. Okay. Here, choosing an internal stage. See here, user stage is there, table stage is there, named internal stage is there. They're talking about the internal stages only. Okay. So these stages, okay, I'll show you how to like how to see the files in that particular stage, how to access that particular stage. I'll try to talk about that one. Even table stages are also there. So here also they are saying that, okay, you cannot drop it, you cannot create the stages, you cannot alter it also. Okay, and we have one more stage called named stages. There again, we have actually, this is recommended one. Optional, but it is recommended one actually for the regular data loads. So again, in this one, temporary is there, permanent is also there. If you want, you can create any one of the thing. Okay, now I'm going back to my slide actually. Okay, here. Now, how do we access the files in the user stage? Remember, to access any of the stage, the command is actually at the rate, you need to use at the rate symbol. To access user stage, you need to use at the rate tilde symbol. At the rate tilde symbol, I can say. Okay. To access the files in the table stage, you need to use at the rate is common here. To access any of this stage, at the rate is common. Okay. At the rate, you need to use one special symbol called percentile and the table name we have to use. Let's say employee table I created, right? That table name we have to use. Back end the stage name is also table name only. Okay. Let's say I created the employee table here. So employee will be created. Employee stage will be created. If at all, if you want to access the named internal stage, you have to use at the rate and the stage name. Let's say I'm creating my stage here. Okay. So my underscore stage you have to take it. What happened to this? 1 second, guys. So my underscore stage. This one we have to use. Okay. Same command we are going to use for the permanent and the temporary also. But the only difference between this one and this one is If you create the temporary stage, actually, once you come out of the session, once you close the session, once the session expires, actually, then temporary stage will be dropped automatically. But this one, until you drop it explicitly with the help of command, it will not be dropped. Okay, even external stage also, you need to access using the, you can access the files using in the external stage, actually using external stage name only. External stage, external underscore stage. Okay, you understood the commands also here? Now you can ask questions.
Is all stage tables are truncate and load always?
These are not tables. This is a stage, which is a landing location in stage, a landing location in Snowflake, which is a temporary memory location, which is created when you create a stage. Okay, this is not a table. Your table data will not be stored in a stage. Remember that point also. Whatever the data you are storing in a table, the backend that will not be stored in a stage. Stage is different, table is different, table storage is different. You cannot truncate. This is not a table object. You cannot truncate and you cannot do altering of the. I mean, you can alter the properties of the stage, but directly you cannot alter the other things.
So when we interact with the ETL tool to load the data into Snowflake, so are we going to interact with the table or interact with the stage?
Okay, your ETL tool will ask you, hey, if I want to load this data into these so-and-so tables, which stage you want me to use? Then, in that case, you try to create the name internal stage and give that stage to the ETL tool.
So in that case, whatever the stage which I refer should have a table structure. So basically, this is the 5
No,
column.
tables, again, you are getting confusion here. Okay. This is nowhere related with the table. This stage is nowhere related with the table. Table is different, stage is different. It's just a temporary memory location. That's it. Just like your folder in your hard disk, I can say. Just a folder. Did I answer your question?
Yeah.
Any other question? Okay, moving on. Let's get into the practical part here. Now, if you want to load the data into the stage, then you have to use actually put command. That put command also I'll try to show you in the documentation. If you don't know any command in Snowflake, please try to use actually documentation here. You try to search here put. Oh, sorry, my bad. 1 second. Let me try to correct here this one again. 1 second, guys. You try to search here put, so that hit enter here. The documentation, it will show you everything, syntax and the usage and the explanation about that particular command. Everything you will get it. Okay. It put command will upload the data files from local file system. That means your LFS system to one of the Snowflake stages. It can be internal stage, it can be table stage, it can be user stage. Local files can be loaded only into the internal stages, guys, not to the external stages. External stages will take the files only from the cloud, not from the local. Remember that. Now the syntax of the put command is put file keyword we need to use colon slash slash path to the file and the file name and the internal stage name we need to mention. Let me try to use this one here. Okay. Now for now, I'll simply use my snow site here and we'll see whether it is supporting or not first. Okay. Put command, put file colon slash slash. You need to give here fully qualified path of the file. Fully qualified path. Let's say in my local, in my local, I wanted to, I have actually my files here. Data set, where is the data set? CSV. Let's say I have this file here, employee one or employee original is there. This is what I wanted to load it into my stage. Now you need to take the fully qualified path, copy this particular path, even this name also. Okay. Now what I will do is I'll go to the like UI and I'll try to paste it here. Slash, what is that file name? emp underscore original. Okay, you need to give the extension also here. Mandatorily, you need to give the extension. Otherwise, it will not recognize. emp underscore original. My bad. It's a typo. Underscore original dot csv. Put this particular file where? Where do you want to put that one? Where do you want to put that one? We have different types of stages, right? In which stage you want me to put it? Let's say, first I'll try to play with the user stage. How do we represent, or what is the symbol we have to use to access the user stage? Tilde symbol. Just try to give this one. That's it. Put this file into the stage. That's the meaning of this command. That is what even I like we have here in the syntax. So put file, path of the file name, and the internal stage name. That internal stage can be anything. It may be user stage, it may be table stage, it may be named internal stage. Can be anything. Now, if I execute this particular command here and see what is that error you're getting, you can see here unsupported feature and unsupported requested format. Okay, 1 second. I'm expecting one more error here. CSV at the rate tilde. Okay, currently it is giving only this error. Previously, they used to give actually put command is not supported. Okay, put command is directly not supported here. Now, what I need to do is I can go and execute the same command in the dbviewer as it is here. Now, let me try to, okay, before I put this file into the user stage, I wanted to check actually, do we have any files in the user stage or not? Okay, for that, okay, in Linux, if you want to see the directories in a subdirectories are the files in a directory, what is the command you use?
ls-ltr.
cd is a Windows command, right? cd is just a navigating to that particular folder, right?
Correct.
But if you want to see subdirectories and the files in a
DIR.
directory,
In Windows?
DIR, no.
In Windows.
In Windows, that is okay, but
Yeah.
Linux.
Oh, sorry. LS. Sorry.
LS command, right?
Yeah.
Same thing we here also will try to use. LS, or we can use list also. LIST also we can use. Anything is okay. LS, okay. We need to use here at the rate and tilde symbol here. That's it. Give the semicolon and try to execute this one. Control enter and see, do we have any files in the user stage so far? No, nothing is there. Now, the moment I execute this command, actually, you'll be able to see that file. This is the command to see the files in a stage. This is the command to see the files in all the stages. ls, that particular stage command. If it is a user stage at the rate tilde, if it is a table stage at the rate percentile table name, if it is a named stage at the rate named stage name, this is common. Or if you want to use list command here, you can use list also. List. Okay, now let me execute this command here. See, we're not getting anything here because no files are there in the stage. Now, what I will do is I'll just try to execute this command here and see what is happening here. See, what is that message you got here? Employee original.csv is loaded into the target. It got uploaded. And once it is uploaded, it got, while uploading, it got encrypted actually. It got encrypted. And here, the file is actually compressed inside the stage. The original file size is 717 bytes and the target file size is 352 bytes. 50% it is compressed. Source file has any compression? No. Target file is actually by default it will compress with the Ganji format. Okay, and the status is uploaded and it is encrypted. And remember one thing, once you upload your data into the Snowflake environment, Snowflake database or Snowflake stage, your data will be encrypted. Right? That is the default behavior of the Snowflake. That means what they wanted to convey from this point is, once you upload the data into the Snowflake, your data is fully secure. That's what they wanted to say here. Nobody can hack it. We are going to use our own encryption algorithm in the backend so that we'll encode it. We'll encrypt it. Okay. Now let me go and check the like files here. See, I'm able to see that file here. I'm able to see that. This is my file. This is the size of the file, 368, and this is the unique value of that particular file notation. And the last modified is by default it will show UTC timestamp. That's okay. Okay. Shiva, can we do the same activity using table stage? Yes, boss, you can do. Okay, how we can do that one is same put command only. Now what I will do is, in place of tilde symbol, I'll simply put percentile symbol here, EMP. That's it. What is that EMP? Table name. Did I create that one? Did I create the user stage? Did I create the user stage? No, I did not do that one. Automatically it got created. Can I drop this one? No. Can I modify this one? No. Now, did I create this particular stage? No. Now, do we have this stage in place? First of all, can you help me here? List at the rate percentile symbol EMP we need to write here and put semicolon, execute it, control enter. Okay. Huh. It is throwing error because my worksheet is not pointing to any of the database and schema, because my EMP table is there in the DataTech DB and the test schema. But my worksheet is pointing to that particular database and schema? No. How you did yesterday in the Snow site, you're selecting database and schema name. Same way, you can select actually database name and the schema name. Okay, here in place of public, actually, I'll try to select test schema. Indirectly, my worksheet or my session is pointing to this particular database and this particular schema. Okay, now let me try to execute this one here. See, currently, do we have any files in the like a users, sorry, table stage? No. As of now, no. And one more thing, guys, actually, you need to understand one more thing here. When you create a session or when you create a worksheet, yesterday in Snow site, you have seen database and schema, and one more option right side, you have seen that one. What is that? Role and compute warehouse, right? But Siva, you're not selecting the role and compute warehouse here. How? What is that like a backend it is going to select? It is going to take the default role and the default warehouse at the user level. If it is not set at the user level, whatever it is set at the account level, it will take it. Now, I wanted to know what is the default role is like attached to this particular session. What is the default compute warehouse, like warehouse, virtual warehouse is attached to this particular session? I wanted to know that one. For that, actually, you need to do this command. Like select current warehouse, sorry. Current underscore warehouse. This is the function you need to use. Then underscore, my bad guess. Okay, let me execute this one. See, compute warehouse it is using in the backend. Even though I'm not selecting that one, this is the default warehouse actually. See guys, Snowflake is not a case sensitive language. You can use uppercase, you can use lowercase, you can use mixed case also, no problem at all. That is the reason why current I typed in, to prove that one, I typed current in uppercase and warehouse in lowercase. No problem at all. Okay. Now, Shiva, virtual warehouse is okay. What about the role? Now, can you guess the command here? What is that to know what is that command to know the default role? Select. Can you guess? Come on, guys. You have to open your mouth. See, what is the default one? Account admin role.
Yeah.
That is what we understood right yesterday also. By default, when you created an account, what was the role attached to that account actually? Account admin only. No, even for this session also, account admin only. But we will never use this account admin role to execute our commands or to create the objects. Remember that. Remember that. Never ever use that. You'll understand the reason also going forward. For everything, there is a reason. Okay. Now, Shiva, if you don't want to use account admin role, then how to use sysadmin role? How to attach that sysadmin role to this particular session, particular worksheet? Remember, you have to use role. This is a command you have to use. Use role. What is that role you wanted to use always? Sysadmin, right? That role you need to mention it. Execute this. Execute this one and try to select current role command one more time. See what it is using now in the backend. From now onwards, until you close the session, it is going to use sysadmin role only to execute your commands. Make sure that while execute the commands, you are setting correct warehouse and the correct role and the correct database. You are pointing to the correct database and the correct scheme. This role, this warehouse, this database, this schema, together we call it as a context. Remember, when you open a worksheet, when you open a session, you need to first set up the context. That's the point I wanted to discuss. In UI, you have directly navigation to select that particular role and warehouse. But here we don't have that option here. You can use the commands. So how do we attach the database here? You can attach, use DB. What is the DB name? Data tech DB, right? So data underscore tech, sorry, tech underscore DB. That's it. Use this one. Sorry. Use database, not DB. My bad. Database. This is the command. Use database name. Okay, now let me try to execute this one. Back. Hey, what happened? Data tech spelling mistake here, guys. My bad. Now use database name, and see backend it is using indirectly. I mean, this session will use actually this particular database. If you want to use this schema, required schema, use schema, your schema name. What is the schema name? Test underscore schema. This is my schema name. Try to execute this, control enter. Then backend it is using. If you want to use public schema, you replace that one with the public like this. Execute this one and see what is happening. It is using actually, hey, what happened? It has to point. It has to point that one. I don't know why it is not showing, but by default, when you start using this one, right, it will try to show here. It is supposed to show public here. That's what my expectation here. But that's okay. Backend definitely it will try to use the public schema here for the session. Because you're explicitly writing the command here, use this particular schema. Or if at all, if you want to use this together, right, then use without mentioning schema and database, use database name dot your schema name. So test underscore schema. This is what you need to use here. That's it. Now you can execute this command also. Or if you want to use public schema, you can use that public also here. Public here. Now execute this one. Control enter or select that one and execute that one. So that it will backend, it will start using this particular database and schema. So my point, what I wanted to conclude here is, whenever you open any of the session or any of the worksheet, you please first try to set up the context. And after that, you start working on it, working on any of the command. Okay, now to execute my commands, actually, I'm going to use actually sysadmin role. List is not authorized because this employee table is actually created by the account admin. This is the reason actually I'm telling you. This table is actually created by the account admin role, and the child role cannot be used like objects related to that. This is only the reason I'm telling you, which we are not supposed to use the account admin role to create the objects. But if you create the object with the child role, parent can use it. Account admin is a parent role here. Sysadmin is a child role here. Whatever the object created by the parent role cannot be directly used by the child role until unless parent gives the permission. But any of the object created by the child role can be directly accessible by the parent role. So strictly I'm telling, do not use account admin role to create the objects. How do we confirm that once it is created by the like account admin role? Now, if I expand this one, if I expand the tables here, if you hover your mouse, owner is sysadmin, huh? One second. Owner is sysadmin only, then we should be able to access it. One second. One second. What is that role it is using in the backend? How do we know that one? Select current underscore role. Current underscore role. Okay, sorry. Okay, now let me execute this command. One second. Current role is sysadmin only. We should be able to access it, right? Okay. We pointed to like public schema, right? We pointed to public, even though it is showing here public. Maybe it's a refresh issue here. Even though it is pointing to test schema here, it is actually pointing to public. In the public, actually, we don't have that one. That is the reason it is throwing error. Now, what I will do is I'll try to use this command. Use data tech underscore db data underscore tech, right? I used okay, data underscore tech underscore db dot test underscore schema. This is what I wanted to use. After that, I'll try to execute that command. That's okay. Now I'll try to execute this command with the sysadmin role. Now see, I'm able to see that one. Even when you try to execute, when this object is created with the account admin role, and if sysadmin is trying to access that one, you will get the same error. Object does not exist. You'll get that error. Even if you're pointing to different schema, you'll get the same kind of error because this object is not there in that particular schema or database. So try to habituate to write this particular command before you execute anything. See, if you don't use this one, you have to use fully qualified names always. If you use this command, if you don't want to use this command, try to use fully qualified name. If you use this command, you don't need to write the fully qualified name. I can directly use here select star from EMP. But if I don't set up this one, I have to use data tech db dot schema dot emp. But always my recommendation is use fully qualified names. Okay. Now let me try to execute this list command here and see what is happening here. Currently, nothing is there. Okay. If you want to like upload some data to the this table stage, right? See here. Now it got uploaded. Now once again, if you go and check this list command, right, you are able to see that employee file here. Employee file, it got uploaded to stage location. Okay. Now this is the way of uploading the data to the stage, file to the stage. Now tomorrow we'll understand how to create the named internal stage, how to create the temporary stage, and how to upload the data to that particular stage, and how do we alter the properties of the stage. That's what we are going to discuss. Okay. Yeah, that's all for today. Any questions?
Like you have used list at tilde symbol, no,
Yeah.
for to check the user stage.
Mhm.
Like it will show which user, like all the users or the
Siva
current
user,
user
Siva
which
user.
we.
Only current user.
Okay,
Only
okay,
current
okay.
user. Not all the
And one more
users.
thing
Mm.
is to show the like what are all present in the table stage. You told like at symbol with the percentage, no? Like after this we have used the table name. Is it mandatory to use the table name?
Yeah. Because how do you represent that table stage in that case? Table stage
Okay, okay,
back and it will try to use the table name only.
okay.
Let's say if you have created the department, then how do you navigate to how do you navigate the files in the department stage? It's
Yeah, I understand.
mandatory to mention the stage name after
Table
percent
name.
time.
Ah,
Whether it may
okay,
be
okay.
employee, it may be sales, it may be like department, it may be salary, anything.
Ha, ha. Okay.
Shiva, when we creating tables, we are mentioning database name, schema name, everything, right? Similarly, can we use input when we are creating
Stage, yeah? For the stage, yeah?
yeah, for
Ah,
stage?
you can happily, but not for the user stage and the this one table stage. You can put that one directly to the what do we call named internal stage. You can happily.
Okay,
I'll show you that one tomorrow.
okay. And in second line, we can't use that, right? In second line, the one you written put file.
Ah, you can use at the end, no problem.
Okay, before at the rate, we can
You
use.
can use that one. Yeah, database name dot schema name dot the stage name, but for the named internal stages.
Okay, only for named internal
Named internal stages, not for this.
Okay.
So one user is inserted this user table stage. Other user can't see, right, Siva? Only.
Yeah. Let's say Siva user is actually uploading some files to the stage location. Now let's say one more user Rama is created. Rama, if he tries to see list at the rate tilde, right, he will not be able to see that.
But named can be able to see, right?
Named can be seen, yes, if he has access, provided if he has access.
Okay, you need to grant to the
Grant
particular
that
user.
access, correct.
But named alone only you need, you can.
Yes.
Okay.
Any other question? Yeah. We got two more questions, sir. Can you repeat once again? Guys, if you want to ask that question, ask it in class itself. I don't see the messages in the chat. My complete focus on the explanation only. I don't look at the chat and I don't look at the messages in the WhatsApp. Please unmute yourself and ask me once again, whatever the question you have. Stop me there itself or wait till I complete the topic. At the end of the topic, you can ask the questions. Do not post your questions in the chat.
Okay,
I will
I
not
just
look into
asked
that.
the course content in the group. That's all.
That is okay. In the class, I'm talking.
Okay.
In the class. Okay, now let me stop recording the session.